So many of the challenges we face today transcend borders. We need to address the climate crisis. We need to prevent the spread of dangerous weapons. We need to shore up democracy, defend human rights, and build a thriving global economy. All of that makes the world more stable and free. And it all protects the security and prosperity of the American people. But the most urgent problem we face right now is the COVID-19 pandemic. We need to get it under control, and we need to invest in stronger global health to stop pandemics like this from happening ever again. President Biden just announced a historic investment in global health. Thanks to a bipartisan congressional vote last year, the United States will provide $2 billion for safe and effective vaccines in 92 low and middle income countries around the world. And now, as other countries step up, we'll give an additional $2 billion this year and next year. This money will help other countries, but it will also help us. We know that none of us are safe until everyone is safe. The entire world needs to be vaccinated. And if this pandemic has taught us anything, it's that health crises in other countries don't always stay there. So we have a profound stake in making sure that our response to COVID-19 is truly global. Investing in global health is investing in America's health. Thank you, global citizen, for reminding us that even in this time of anxiety and isolation, there's so much more that unites us than divides us, that we're all in this together, and together we will overcome this crisis.